Hey guys. Okay, so this all stems from obviously the little Facebook dealio. And usually things bother me, and then I'm just like, no, you're just being stupid. And then I got up this morning and I was like, no, I'm actually not. Shockingly, I'm just as shocked as you are. So, what we have here, maybe it'll help so that you can pause the video if need be. But this is the breakdown, and this is what we're going to be discussing. I don't know. Maybe I'll just put in a picture of it. But okay. So let's start out with a peer support specialist. And I think maybe this is what a lot of you were speaking about. I'm not quite sure. When you said social worker. Now, a peer support specialist does not usually have their bachelor's of science in social work or their bachelor's of social work. And they usually don't have their licensed social work, or they're not a licensed social work with their master's of social work. So LSW. And then they're probably not a licensed clinical social worker. So what I did is I likened this to a CNA or a certified nurse or a nursing assistant. And then we just went through tuition and fees through an LPN, licensed practical nurse, and then I just stopped at RNs because I got tired, okay? I don't know that. I have to just research it. You can research it. I don't know a whole lot, but I do know what I'm trying to prove here. Okay, so for a peer support specialist in Colorado, it's $32,000 to $41,000. Now, according to the W-2, thank you, Richard, I found it. This is Colorado Coalition for the Homeless, and there's a reason besides laziness, which is the main one that I didn't put it up. I don't want to put on Facebook that I'm a peer for the Colorado Coalition for the Homeless because I had like a caseload, okay? That's not going to be fun. So, because I work within the community, I live within the community. Shocker. So, it's really just laziness, though, is why I didn't update that. Anyway, so the peer specialist, I made about 34. They're listed as 32 to 40,000 or 41,000 in Colorado, and that's a 40-hour work week because I wasn't on salary. So in Indiana, it's about 30,000, and which equates to, $14.43 an hour. So whatever, it's about $2,500 a month. Now, a CNA on the other hand, they're making about 31,000 to 38,000 in Colorado. This is all like salary.com and stuff, okay? And then 30,000 to 36,000 in Indiana. Now the tuitions and fees, again, it's a 70-hour training program, and it's about $1,100 in Colorado. And the exam fee, remember, we're still on peer specialist here, the exam fee is $123. In Indiana, it's 105 hours, which is interesting. They have more supervised, training. And it's about $900 to about $1,125 in Indiana, and it's $75 for the exam. So then we're talking also about having to intern. So for the program that I did through HUD-VASH, or no, actually HUD, I apologize. When I was living at the Blue Triangle when I was homeless in Indianapolis, HUD, which is our housing people, they ended up paying, I think HUD, Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, I'm currently under a HUD-VASH program, but we can go into that maybe in another video. I don't know. Anyway, HUD paid for my CNA training. So we did 2 weeks in class and then 2 weeks working at a nursing home, interning because you did it for free. And then that particular $900 that HUD paid for also covered the exam costs, but it didn't cover scrubs, it didn't cover stethoscopes, didn't cover anything like that really by hook and by crook you got to manage to get, especially if you're in a homeless shelter. All right, so that is a peer specialist that I think a lot of you were thinking. When you said social work, I think that this is what you were thinking. So you were calling basically a CNA a full-blown RN. I think this is what our issue is, okay? We're going to continue on. So then we have the bachelor's of social work or the bachelor's of science in social work. Now, the deal with that is that I can only speak from what I can glean from IUPUI, or for those of you not from Indiana, ooey pooey, but it's just IU Purdue campus in downtown Indy, and they got some remote stuff too, which is nice. And I'm sure they got other campuses that are ooey pooey, but the one I know about is in Indianapolis. But anyway, so the MSU Denver BSSW, because it's our Bachelor's of Science in Social Work, You know, you have your cough stipends. And what I did was I just looked at like my actual statement. So it's about $5,377 per semester. And that's with the bonus of having the cough fund, which is a college opportunity fund that everybody fills out in Colorado. In fact, sometimes when you're trying to sign up for college, it won't even let you move forward until you just click like a button sometimes. And you just have to be a Colorado resident, so you had to live here for a year. They might have even changed that since. I don't know. It's been like 6-7 years ago since I've had to do anything but click a button. So that helps out with $1,248. At least it did for me this semester. And it is, I need to note that MSU Denver is the 4th cheapest 4-year degree in Colorado. But that's where I go, so this is the numbers that I can definitely verify. Now with IUPUI, it was a little bit more difficult, but I'm trying to do a comparison here. And this is just for the Bachelor's of Science in Social Work, the 4-year normal program. So that would be about $9,500 per year. This is all in-state tuition. And then, so that equates to about $4,750 a semester. Okay, so I equated this again to a licensed practical nurse. Is it practicing? Practical? Whatever the fuck. You know what an LPN is. So, in Colorado, it was stated on like salary.com and whatever, all those kinds of things, about $46,000 to $57,000 a year in Colorado. There's a diploma or certification can cost as low as $2,530. I don't know if that just means you've been I don't know what that means, and I'm not going to use the term because apparently it's racially charged. But you have been around the program long enough that you qualify for it. You get kind of like, all right, he's been in, but no more, or she, no more though. So there's a diploma or certification degree, and then the degree itself apparently costs around $7,700. I know getting back to working with HUD to get my CNA done, there's Arapahoe Community College out here who I was going to go through for my EMT schooling. Well, I got cold feet, didn't do it, but I pulled back, and now there's a program called Colorado Works in Arapahoe County. Colorado Works was willing to pay for my EMT situation because they're willing to pay for me. It was up to like $2,500, $5,000, something like that. And then there was like another chunk that came on because I can't get employed because of COVID or something. Or it could be just like, there's a lot of different programs, but this is just the one that I know. It's called Colorado Works for Arapahoe County. They're incredible to work with. They want to give you money. They do. So they can get you, employed in something, like the nursing programs and whatnot. So, but the other thing too is that if you want to go high dollar because you can do it yourself, or you just want to get the best or something like that, it's, the average for the normal, the average salary in Indiana, sorry, I got off base here. The average salary for Indiana is around $50,000 for an LPN. And then the tuition, etc., it can be $4,000 to $5,000. So very, very easily comparable to the $7,700 for the degree program in Colorado, the $3,000 to $5,000. But you can go all the way up to $30,000 apparently in Indiana. Again, this is a lot of Google searching and just like looking through. I can only really speak to the numbers that I know of, which is the peer stuff, how my CNA stuff went through, how my current Bachelor's of Science in Social Work is going through, how the master's programs are working, and then firsthand knowledge on certain things along those lines. Those types of stuff. Everything else is more or less a Google search. So let's just get that. I'm not APA MLAing for you motherfuckers, all right? You've already made this a bigger pain in the ass than it needed to be. So we got that all down. Now we're looking at the Masters of Social Work. Okay, and then we'll talk about the LSW as we go, I guess. So the MSW program, if you pick the 2-year program, I'm attempting to do the accelerated program, which means I'll get it done in 1 because I'm old as shit in comparison to pretty much everybody else on the planet when it comes to progression in life. So I recognize that. So I want to do the year accelerated program. So, but the numbers that are really kind of a little bit easier to get with is the 2-year program, because you got the 1, the 2, and the 3-year program for the Masters of Social Work at MSU Denver, by the way. So if you look at that, you're talking about a 2-year program. It's 15 credit hours per semester, so it's your normal 60-hour, master's program. And then 1 credit hour is about $834.30 a piece, or 15 credit hours at about $8,407 per semester. And remember, this is all in-state tuition we're talking about. And then you got COF, and then you have other financial aid you can use. We're not going to get into that because that's not the point here. So then, the cost is $33,628. Now, I have the potential to go to Denver University, and this is simply by word of mouth. I did not Google this. This is just from people who teach there, who are currently going there, who are grads from there. I've heard numbers for their master's program ranging from $92,000 to $98,000. These are all self-reported numbers. People I trust. You don't got to take it for what you want. I mean, like, whatever. We've already moved past, like, me not being already upset with just take my word for it. So whatever. Now, I looked up the IUPUI MSW program. Now, Masters of Social Work at Ooey Pooey for you Hoosiers out there, fellow Hoosiers. All right, so problem with this one, not a big deal, not a big snack, but what we ran into is that it's about, there's reported either $480 to $605.96 per credit hour. So it's either $480 or about $606. I don't know. I don't fucking care to figure it out. You can yourself. Again, it's a 60 credit hour situation, all in-state tuition. So that's ranging from $28,800 to $36,357. Now, this is on top of, obviously, your 4-year degree. And these are lower, obviously, state schools. That's my point. I don't know where IUPUI ranks. I just know that we're the 4th cheapest 4-year degree moving forward. Okay? So I'm not showing you high numbers, just out of nowhere. I'm trying to actually put stuff that are, apples to apples here, all right? As best I can. With, like, zero sleep because of you fuckfaces. Honestly. So, okay, so this is what I looked at here. After you get your MSW, then you got to take, there's no reason not to. I don't know what the fee is. You can Google it. It can't be that much, but there's a fee involved. So you have to take your LSW exam, which is nothing but everybody calls like a jurisprudence. I don't know what it is. I haven't started studying for it. I'm still 2 years out from even having to really start studying for it. But as far as I can understand, it's just basically like a test about our code of ethics, our NSW, and how exactly the legal system works that we're going to run into, not only to protect our clients and their HIPAA rights and everything along those lines, but also to protect our asses. A lot of it is protect your ass. It's a licensure. Unfortunately, it's a necessary evil. But that's another licensure, okay? Now, when I look up, and this is all, okay, so, sorry, I'll dial back here. So, I'm glad I did this. So when I look up usajobs.gov, and I did this last week just to kind of see what's going on. Actually, I was trying to figure out if I needed an LSW or if I needed an LCSW. Let's just scoot you on over so we can keep moving on here. So, that being said, no, this is all fucky. Lola's a shitty camera person, so, all right. So the deal is, when I looked up the GS 9 to 11, if anybody doesn't know, it's just basically a rating that the government gives per employee. That's just like, it's like a rank system. It's like, he's a specialist, he's a sergeant, he's a staff sergeant, he's a sergeant major. Sorry. But this is a GS rating of 9 to 11, which is nothing to fucking, bet. I mean, it's a big deal, actually. Well, to me. I don't know. I think most people it is. Whatever, I'm getting off track. The point is that there's openings for social workers with 1 year of experience with their LSW. They don't have to have their LCSW. So I was wrong on that. I thought that they had to have their licensed clinical social working situation. But no, they're just asking for LSWs with 1 year of experience. But there's a caveat to that. It can be within the agency that you're working for, at least within the VA, which they're saying is you can work for us for a year and then we'll kind of bump up whatever GS level they hired you in on. That's federal, so I trust those numbers a little bit more, especially from usajobs.gov. If you're not familiar with it, I'm sure you are. If you're not, go ahead and start poking around at that because the hiring process takes forever. So we're looking at about $60,331 to about $94,889. Now, these are federal fucking numbers. These are GS numbers. These are not numbers that I'm pulling off of salary.com or Indeed or whatever the fuck, Glass Ceiling or I don't know, that kind of stuff. These are actually federal numbers, and it's on their .gov website, and that's what you get. You get a GS rating, that's what you get. In Indiana, they're a little bit prorated because of the cost of living, So they're GS 9 to 11, which I actually didn't know that the GS levels were prorated according to regions until I started looking at this, but that's good to know. It's 55,226 to 86,859, and that's with your masters and your LSW. Okay, now basically what we're moving on here is to wonky numbers because they're really hard. And this is what I think everybody was fucking up during this beautiful thing we call Facebook. And I think the internet's doing it too, and I think people who take numbers are doing it too. I was trying to find purely LSW salaries as opposed to LCSW salaries because there is a big fucking difference. So, are we talking about, again, are you talking about a peer? Are you talking about a CNA? Or are you talking about an LCSW or a registered nurse? Who the fuck are you talking about when you say that social workers are poor? So, let's go here. The LSW in Colorado is listed at 68,192, which I can tell you right now is fucking really high and really awesome if you get that. I've seen more along the lines of Indiana numbers or even our GS level numbers where it's like 55, 60, 60 to, you work there forever. Maybe you get up to those 80s to 90s levels, but 55, 60 levels, especially starting out with an LSW. And that's if you're super lucky. I get that. But you're not fucking poor, okay? Now, let's see here. We go down to LCSW in Colorado is rated median, 75,744. That takes everybody into account. LSW in Indiana, allegedly out the gate at 43,711 and up. Once again, this is all salary. This is all Google things. I don't trust any of these numbers. But again, the point is you're not fucking poor. Now, LCSW in Indiana allegedly is 68,000 to 82,000. Could very well be. Usually when I talk to people and I'm comfortable enough or I'm just a dickbag and I just outright ask their salaries, we're talking with an LSW 45 to 55. And then when you get into your LCSW, we're talking about more like 60s and up. And then, I don't know. You could get super lucky and get like a kick-ass job, or you could be a kick-ass person, or both. But we're just talking about averages here. Now, let's talk about the LCSW, the Licensed Clinical Social Worker, and what it takes to get that certification. So, it's 100 this is in Colorado, by the way. It's 100, and it goes state by state, so, do your own research. But it's 100 supervised hours, and usually, well, not usually, if you're lucky enough, the agency that you're working for will have, because your supervised hours have to be by a licensed, clinical social worker. They have to hold the LCSW, and they're supposed to they're supposed to actually supervise you, over the whole situation. So that's usually 100 supervised hours at $100 an hour if you pay out of pocket. And these are kind of like wishy-washy numbers, but these are kind of the hard to when you ask. So you can't complete it in any sooner than 2 years, but no longer than 5 years. And then so this roughly equates, if you're going to fast track it, to a 40-hour work week with 1 hour a week supervised, because that's pretty much where you're limited on, just legally and whatnot. So what does this mean? This means another 10 grand. So when I say that social workers are not poor, the vast majority of them are not poor, and the vast majority of them do come from wealth. What I'm talking about is from getting your bachelor's all the way through your LCSW, and imagine you got kids, you got to work another job. We have to do internships during this entire thing. So you have time, you have all these other expenses, you got travel. Let's say you live downtown and your rent is $2,200. This is in Denver or whatever. I mean, there's so many different factors where this system has been set up and has been known to be set up specifically for the wealthy. And it always has been. And everybody's trying to change this formula. Everybody's trying to get the route from peer to, well, really nice wages. I can take vacations and shit, a little bit more streamlined than what you're looking at is, let's say 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, some years in order to complete. You do not, and there are rock stars out there. Let me be super clear. There are fucking phenomenal rock stars out there that exist. They walk amongst us. They're amazing people. They persevered. We're talking single mothers, multiple kids, multiple jobs, and did all this shit. Okay? Of course with help. Financial aid and stuff like that. But they did... What I'm talking about is the vast majority of social workers are privileged, white, and female. And that hopefully is going to change. So when I see that meme, it was a joke, and I was being... God, how dare I be superfluous or use hyperbole? Sorry. My bad. I'm trying to prove a point and I suck at it. How dare I use hyperboles when I'm talking about wealthy people are able to do this job? It's not really open for everybody. And we need everybody from the CNA all the way up, and I didn't even get into the doctorate type thing, but all the way up to the registered nurses. We need all those people, and they bring so much to the table. What I'm talking about, you fucktwats, is I want to see all of this streamlined so it's not the majority white, rich people being social workers, which is what we're looking at right now in this country because of how many barriers we have. How many barriers everybody has. I am fucking white. I'm male. I'm middle-aged. I was in the military. Whether or not I deserved an honorable discharge, I still don't fucking believe I did. But I got to use the post 9/11 GI Bill. And then, when I get to the master's program, I'm switching over to chapter 31, which is vocational rehabilitation. Again, do I deserve it? No. Am I paying any out of pocket for this? No. I'm getting paid to do this because I'm a privileged fucking white dude. There's a lot more that goes into it. A lot of people would argue against that. It's not why we're here. The whole point is that I got my feelings hurt, and then I couldn't sleep, and then I woke up still fucking having my feelings hurt. So I thought I'd just break it down for everybody to show you why I was saying what I was saying. Okay? Huh? Is that good enough? Probably not. All right. Love you all, but you fucking suck.